Alright guys, I think it's better to start because otherwise we're going to get too late for the people who have classes and everything. So today, as you guys know, we're going to be talking about setting up goals in guitar, and I would like this to be a little participatory. That means that you guys can talk anytime, and people just let me know and ask questions and stuff like that. You're going to need a piece of paper, a pen, and your creativity. So research say that the more we write things down, the better is the chances that we're going to have to achieve it. You know, so by writing things that you want down, you're increasing the chances of actually getting what you would want. And I would like to start this by asking you guys a question. A simple question like, what is it that makes us achieve our goals in guitar? What is it?
What is it that makes
As achieve our goals in guitar?
motivation? Motivation.
Motivation, great.
Practice, hard work, and practice.
Yes.
Knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge.
Desire.
Very true. I saw a bunch of those things. And I would like to sum this up into one word. I'd like to call it pressure. We need to feel pressured in some way to achieve something. Now, this pressure can be many different ways of pressure. It can be the desire, it can be the motivation, it can be like also the external pressure of like you have a recital coming up, you have a deadline asking you to do something. So I'd like to choose those two types of actions into external actions and internal actions. External pressures and internal pressures. So external pressure is everything that is beyond your control, right? So the professor says, you're going to be playing next GR, and then you're going to play. So you have an external pressure forcing you to practice. And here in school, we have a lot of this external pressure happening, right? We have a lot of concerts, competitions, we have performance class, we have master class, we're playing all the time. I think what is missing for now, that's why I'd like to talk about this today, is the internal pressure. Because, just curious, what do you guys think is more powerful? Internal pressure, pressure that you have within yourself to do something for you, or the external pressure, somebody telling you to do the things? Which one is more powerful? Which one is going to make you achieve? Internal, for sure. There's no doubt about it. So, we need to find out ways of creating that internal pressure, and making that really happen for us. So, I would like to talk a little bit about how guitar is related into our lives, because sometimes we see ourselves just as performers, right? We play the guitar and everything, but in reality, it is related to our lives, right? So we perform for a reason. There's a reason we play. And this has to do with something called values. That's what I like to call it. So what is most important to you? You know? So you play the guitar because it is important to you. But what is the most important thing in your life? Is it guitar? If it is guitar, great. If it is not, you know, I'm not here to tell you what is most important to you. I'm here to actually help you improve your guitar based on what is most important to you already. So my research, my experience has shown me that it is easier for people to get better at guitar if they associate this with something that is really important in their lives. Beyond guitar, something bigger maybe. Or if guitar is the biggest one, great. You tell me, right? So what I'd like to do, I'd like you to think for a moment and ask yourself a question like, what is the most important thing that I'm looking for in life? What is the greatest achievement that I'm looking for? If it is to play the guitar at that kind of level that you want to play, you can write it down. If it is not something related to guitar, you can write it down too. Yeah, again, we are looking for your reasons, because internal pressure comes from doing things for your reasons, not mine. It's your reasons. So we're going to help you to find those associations, how to connect start playing with your business. So I'd like to make like a big circle in the paper that you have. I'm gonna guess one example. Can I do for you? Show people. So like a big circle, please. Everybody see this? And then we're going to write in the center of the circle what is the most important thing you're looking for in your life. It can be one word, it can be a phrase, it can be anything you want. And this is private, so I'm not going to ask you what it is, so don't worry. It's just you. So think it. I'm going to give you like 2-3 minutes to think about it. And if you don't know, for example, man, I don't know, I just live life one day at a time. Great. So just pretend you know and write it down. Just the first thing that happened in your mind, just write it down. You know, what is really, really important. Right.
Would be creepy, please.
No, it didn't. We didn't say anything.
I see people who are not writing it. Did you guys already wrote it? It was really quick.
Yes.
Okay, so who didn't finish yet? You didn't write this word or things. Oh, that's great. That means you guys know yourselves better than I suppose. That's good. You know, and most of it also has to do with the ability of ourselves, how we know ourselves. Because if you know what motivates you, then it's easy. You just get the guitar and associate with that. So, what I would like to do is for you to brainstorm very quickly now. Just very quickly, because it's not the most important thing that we're going to do now. But ways that you can use the guitar, your guitar skills to achieve that main goal or your main purpose in life. So, if it is, for example, you want to have a music school, you want to own a music school. So, how does your guitar skills can help you get there? Or what can you use? You know, so I wanted to branch out, do lines over this center, and write down ways in which the guitar can help you achieve what it is for you. So what is the role of the guitar in that context? And you can do as many as you want, write as many as you want. When you do this, don't only write things down in a logical point of view, but really, you know, get into it, because that's how we build our internal pressure, you know. That's how we get motivated to practice, to really see how guitar can really have an impact on what you're looking for. If you become really good at guitar, how that can help? What could you do with that? So a little bit more. So this exercise that we are all doing is to help us create that internal pressure. Or you can call it motivation. Be self-motivated to do something. And have you ever, guys, for example, get close to a concert or a performance and you're like, oh man, I didn't even notice it was coming up, and I didn't prepare, and I gotta just play my best now. I have been there many times, and it's not fun. Right? So the best thing to do, that's why we also write our goals down, because we are constantly reminding us that something is coming, so we don't get by surprise. So that's why we are also doing this. Alright, so you wrote what you think the guitar is associated with the most important things for you, right? Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn the page. In another page, you write. I want you to write everything. Let's imagine this. There was a magic formula that made you play exactly how you wanted. If there was a magic pill, so I could play whatever I want. How would you play? How exactly would you play? Would you play blah blah, like blah blah blah? You can use reference models. You can use, for example, we'll play as beautiful tone. I would have as beautiful tone as David Russell. You can use whatever you want, but I want you to have a clear vision of what you want to get from the guitar. And don't worry about if you think it's not possible or not. Don't worry about possibilities. Just write down your biggest dream in guitar. And just let it go as fast as you can. And don't stop writing. Just keep letting things go. What ideal is the kind of performer that you want to become? Okay, that's good. If you have more things to write, you can later on at home, because this is something that we are consistently updating, because we change as time goes by. So what we like today may be a little different what we like tomorrow. So it's always good to sometimes do this kind of exercise. Now what we're gonna do is gonna do something related to next semester, right? Don't ask me to come here and talk to you guys about establishing goals for next semester, in guitar. So I would like you now to think about what you want to have accomplished by the end of the next semester, with your capabilities. Okay, with what is possible for you. I like to write what we dream, what we really want to achieve, because this is really long-term thinking, right? And so, but for now, the next semester is coming up, so we need to also have something short-term. Although it's also long-term. Right? Because it's more long-term for most people, because sometimes people don't think ahead even one day or two. Right? You're thinking ahead one semester, so we're making real progress. And by the way, how do we improve in guitar? Do we improve short-term or long-term? Both, but how do we really see the improvements of somebody?
Short term?
Long term. Long term. You see, like after a semester, after a year, it's like, wow, this player got really better. So, and that's how we should be focusing on long-term things. That's why I'm saying, the end of the next semester, what we would like. So how many pieces you would like to have new? How many new pieces? What pieces would you like to learn? If you don't know the pieces yet, just brainstorm in your heads quickly now and write anything for now. You know, it may change a little bit, but ideally you don't want to change. Ideally you want to stick with what you're going to write now. So if you have your pieces written down, then you want to, the new pieces, you have more chances of getting it right. You know, of playing their pieces. How many performances you want to make? How many JRs you want to play? Alright. How many master classes you want to play for Tom? Everything that we can measure is easy to reach. It's very easy to control. Now, if something that we can't measure, for example, I want to become very expressive. Well, it's hard to measure that. So you gotta tell me, I want to become 10% more expressive. You know, or you gotta measure it. You know, I want to play that amount of times. I want to play accurate 90% of the time or whatever. What do you want for next semester? The more clear, the better. Okay? So you've got to be really clear. Exactly what you want. This is the part of planning, the part of being a little logic, step-by-step oriented. And music is not only that, let's make it clear here, right? Music is also about creativity, about, you know, I want to play this today, I want to play that. But we're talking about the results. What is the results now? Today we're going to talk about being this step by step. And in your practice routine, you can use your creativity to reach the things that you want. So that I'm making you guys be like business people. I want you guys to be more clear because we're so creative as artists that sometimes we don't take the time to, you know, be really feet on the ground and say, hey, is this really possible? How can we make that happen? We don't write things down, we don't look for things. And so that's why we're also doing this, to get that part of ourselves working. And hopefully we want to balance those things. We want to balance the spontaneity, you know, giving one day at a time, and also having some aiming for. You know, because if you don't aim at anything, you can end up anywhere. So that's why we're doing this. So you guys write down? Yeah. Great. So I'd like to hear some of your goals for next semester. So who wants to share something?
To do technique
Every day, okay. This is good because you're aiming at being technically better. How can you put this in a way that's a result, not an action? Because do technique every day is what you do to get to a certain kind of result. So you may say, play more play 90% more accurate. You know, you gotta go for the results. You're not brainstorming the house yet, just the result. Right? But it's good direction. Another question?
Just try to develop practice time for both history and classical since I focus on both.
Okay, try to develop practice time. first of all, we want to remove all the words try from our goals, okay? Because when you try something, you're like, yeah, if it doesn't work out, so I'll be fine. No. When you establish goals, it's like you're going to get it. So, and the words make a difference, you know? Especially because of the exercise I'm going to ask you guys to do. So remove the word try and think about the results. So you want to play very good classical and steel string guitar. At the end of the semester, you want to be able to give a show for or a concert in both instruments. That's the result. You're going to set up a day and you're going to make that concert show. So you're talking things about how we can measure things, not actions.
Have a successful senior recital.
Have a successful senior recital. That's great. That's a very good start. The next step that I'm going to ask you guys to do later on is just to make it anticipates that. You say, have a successful senior recital. What does successful mean to you? Exactly.
That means that I'm pleased with the performance.
You're pleased with the performance. Okay, so what would have to happen in order for you to feel pleased with the performance?
That it's both technically and musically ready.
Great, great, great. So what you're doing now, you're getting the goal and you're making more specific. I want to be technically and musically ready. I want to play technically and musically in the concerts in my senior recital. Now, what is technically for you? And then you can go more. What could be technical for you?
That means not make it seem like the piece is too difficult and have any of the difficult, basically the notes are all there and any advanced techniques are there too.
Okay, so you would say, I want that, you have to put this in a phrase, you know, you can make this phrase really long, the more specific the better. I want to play my final senior recital concert in a musical way, and in a way that all the notes are there, accurate, and what else did you say?
And any of like the other advanced techniques or anything like slurs or, you know, tremolo are all successfully.
Okay, so maybe I think I remember what I said. In a way that looks easy for the audience.
Yes.
So the audience has to look at me and see that I'm playing easily.
So basically, so the technique doesn't get, is not standing in the way of the overall impression of the piece.
Great. You can do that. So you see, so we had what? What did we have to start with? I want a successful senior recital. Successful senior recital. But then we went to, I want a recital that's, can you continue for me?
That is technically, musically ready for an audience to hear.
In a way that the audience is going to see the technical parts not overwhelming the other parts, notes with notes accurate, with the phrasing, and then you can go in the music. What does music mean to you? The phrasing has to be really good, has to be, I have to play in style, I have to also let a little bit of my personality go through the piece, and blah blah, that would be for me, but what, you know, so the more you know the specifics, the better. Because guys, focus is like a magnifying lens. You know, if you're focused on something, you know, and you keep looking at it, you keep expanding and finding more details and finding more how to do it. Because by opening up this thing and making it bigger, we can also find better strategies. Because now I know that he wants to play in a way that looks easy, to be honest. That wasn't there in the first time. So this is going to help him find a way. Okay, how can I practice in order to play easily the audience, in order to see that I play easy. So by focusing on this can also give you already the answers for how you play. So I'm going to give you 2 more minutes for you to expand your goal. And actually, let me listen to a little bit more first, because I want to make sure that you guys have results, not actions as goals. So who wants to share more?
Establish a better foundation for myself to be able to play other pieces better.
Okay. That for me also sounds like a how to. Doesn't sound like an outcome, you know? So what do you want to achieve with that? Once you have that, imagine that you have that. What will you be able to do? Because you're saying establish a foundation. Okay, have a foundation, but what are you going to do with that? right? So what is, so you want to become, so you can say, become a player who has a foundation, not establish a foundation. Establish a foundation is a process of the result. So become a person that has that foundation, so you can call this a quality. So goals can be qualities that you want to reach, or they can be actions. Right? So I want to have a foundation. A person that has foundation is a quality. A person that has a lot of technique is a quality. Now, I want to perform a concert in 3 weeks is an action. It's something that happens just one time. Right? So we need to define our goals into those two things, qualities and actions. Another person wants to share? And by the way, by sharing with everybody here, what happens? You're also making it public. And by making it public, you have more external pressure to help you achieve goals. Right? So we are working in internal pressure, but by sharing it, you have your peers look at you. And your peers say, oh man, he said that he was going to play a very good senior recital. Let's see. So it's more pressure for him. So if we have to become really smart at getting ways of creating this pressure. Pressure can be good. External and internal, both works. Internal is the best, but if you can have external, that's good. So who wants also to have a little bit more external pressure?
So if you have a play a great recital, which means pretty much the same, just explain to us.
Senior recital.
Yeah, senior recital. Then I have a few, I listed more or less what I would like my program to be for that event. And then I want to have a GFA repertoire ready by the end of next semester,
Nice.
which means, set pieces, whatever, it's for the GFA plus whatever I'm going to do. And on a more specific level, I want to get 95 to 100% accuracy on whatever I play, every time I play.
By next semester, that's the deadline?
Hmm?
That's the deadline, next semester by when?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's next semester,
See, that's
starting next
pressure.
semester.
It's good. Good.
So we're gonna get more musical, get more competitions in there, out of school, win the Schaefer, so kill it all. And still be able to play a good level in flamenco while we're doing it.
Great, it's fantastic. And he also said a quality, like be ready for something. That's good. That can be, it's a quality. You're ready for something. So, what else? Who else? Who wants to share? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Yeah.
Improve my tone, volume, and rhythm, and reduce noise.
Okay, that's great. So, how much you want to improve your tone?
Will have it more consistent.
How can you measure your tone, by the way? How can we measure our tone? Because we're dealing with things that are very hard to measure. In music, things are very hard to measure. So I'm going to give you a hint, something that I sometimes do to measure my improvements. I have a video recorder, and I record myself before. So you record your tone now. And then you write exactly how you want your tone to be. I want my tone to be warm, I want it to have clarity, whatever you want. What is the ideal tone for you? Because there are people who want different things. For example, Riley, he plays a very thin tone. It's beautiful. So there are different ways. It's not just one standard of tone. There are many different beautiful tones. So you gotta write what tone is good for you, and you record yourself before. And after the end of the semester, you also record yourself, and then you can compare. Then you say, how much do I think it's better? How much percentage do you think it's better? And you record along the way, of course, to make sure that you're in the right track with your actions. This is being very clear, That's getting the thing and say, hey, I want to have this. There is no other way of not getting the good tone. To do this is like a proven strategy. You're gonna get there, but you gotta be able to measure it. You can't measure, you can't improve. You gotta be able to measure. The judges sheets, the comments that we give you, you can also use that to measure yourself. Because it's external. You're a professional. Oh, you're playing better today. Oh no, you're not playing. You were playing better before, so you can use that to measure. So, very important. Other person wants to share?
I want to improve my accuracy.
Accuracy? How much?
A lot.
A lot. What is a lot?
A lot more than I have.
Okay, a lot more you have. So let's imagine, let's put it in this way, in a concert, how accurate you want to play? 90% of the time, 80%. For next semester, you gotta also be realistic. You know, if somebody who is really not accurate and say, I want to be 100% accurate in one semester, depending on how they do it, they may not be able to reach. So I want it to be realistic. So you don't need to share with us if you don't want, but you gotta write a number in there. Be more specific. I want to get better. Play accurate 90% of the time. And how can you measure this? Again, you record yourself. You know, or I want to improve 20% or 30%. But it has to be specific. Otherwise, we just forget. Otherwise, it becomes like just a dream that it's not like we don't have our feet on the ground. It's like, I wish things were different. I want one day to do this. But how many people say this actually? Very general things and they never get there. Many people. You know, so we gotta be specific. Especially guitar, which is a lot of work, in order to make these things happen. Last person who wants to share. Yes.
But also that I want to take all the musical ideas that I have in practice and do them when I perform. So a lot of times you forget things or aren't paying attention to what you want to do or you're nervous. So I want to have all the ideas that I have when I practice it in the performance.
That's great. That's great. That's awesome. It's a quality. And by the way, looking for qualities are also a good way of making sure that you have that quality once the goal is reached. For example, if you may say, I want to win the competition, and after you win the competition, you may forget. You say, okay, I forgot, it's okay. But if you're looking for a quality, you can keep it easier. I'm looking for this and this and this to be able to do this, to get ready, to be ready at any moment. For example, a nice goal to have is, I want to, at the end of the next semester, be ready to any concert that is going to come up in the next 5 months or 4 months, without having one day that I don't feel at my best. A nice goal to have. Consistency, So think of, these are the kinds of things we need to think about. These are what's going to make us be really, really good. Questions so far, ideas, things you want to share? Anything? Makes sense? Nice. So now the next step is very, very important. And I want you guys to really pay attention to this. Pay a lot of attention. There are many people who have goals, but very few people reach them. Very few people. So what is it that makes us reach our goals? Because sometimes clarity is good, but it's not enough. So the next step in order to increase your chance of getting the goal is to actually find why you want to reach that goal. What is the reason? And this reason should not be logic. This reason should be emotion. In the Western society, we are very much conditioned to think logically about everything. Let's do this in this way, or that, do this in that way, and things are so logic, so cold. But what moves us, what creates that internal pressure, is not logic, it's emotion. So, by asking ourselves, why do we want to get to that goal, we are developing the ability of creating in ourselves something bigger than logic, something that is going to make logic work no matter what. If you have the drive to do something, you're going to find a way no matter what. So I wanted to, take a moment, and be really true with yourself and ask, why do you want to reach these goals for next semester? What is the reason? What is that going to give you? How is that going to make you feel? Emotion, you're gonna write is just as a consequence. I want you to feel first. This exercise is about feelings, not about writing stuff. Okay. So give yourself permission to this. does that make you become as a person? How much are you going to be able to share with the people you care about? How much better your life can be as a whole? How much easier can you go through your daily routine if you reach that point? What are you going to gain if you reach that goal? This is the most important part, guys. If you do this exercise really well, that is what it's going to take. Because then you're going to be having inside of you that's energy, that passion to really achieve what you want. So I ask yourself, why do you do it? How's it going to make you feel? Welcome it. Emotions are in us for a purpose. People who are really motivated to get this stuff, they end up finding ways that other people sometimes who are very intelligent don't. For example, I'm sure you guys know Henry Ford, the founder of Ford's company, the car, Ford. He didn't have the best education in that sense, that even that people try to humiliate him by asking him what were the capitals of the states of the US, and he didn't know what to answer it. And he was the guy who founded Ford. So what is it that makes such a person do something like that? It's a lot of emotion, it's a lot of drive, it's a lot of wants. And that is the skill we don't talk about. That is the skill, unfortunately, that we need to see, that we don't see so much in universities. But I hope to see more, much more of that. Well, that's what makes the difference. Of course, knowledge and skill is very important. It's the ability to do things really well, really important. But you don't get there if you don't have these things that you first. That should come first. Then the house will come as a consequence. Okay, so you really think about that, you really felt what it would feel like if you got what you were aiming for. Now it's time to have a little bit of a painful pressure, but not too painful. But sometimes being motivated to do some things by just what we're going to gain, maybe not enough. So I'm giving you everything that you may need to reach. So I'm going to ask you a question now. I'm going to also be very sincere with you. What are you going to lose if you don't reach that goal in 6 months? What is that going to cost you? Not only for guitar, but for entire life. What's that going to make you feel? How your peers are going to see you? Write it down and really feel it. If you don't feel it, it's just logic. It's not going to move anything. It's not going to have any impact. Again, we are generating energy. Energy, not in a metaphysical way, energy in a mental way. Okay? If you believe in those things, great. You can also use them for research. So, I'm going to lose. How much time are you going to spend of your life doing something, 6 months of your life, for what? We're staying the same level? Is that worth it? Not worth it. So if you're gonna go for this goal, you gotta really know you really wanna go for it. And let yourself feel that a little bit. Feel that pain. How would you would feel like? Just for a second. Allowing yourself to experience that is the best thing you can do for yourself. It's a good thing. But two kinds of pain, you know, the pain of discipline, the pain of regrets. So give it a discipline now and really feel how it would feel like to lose your time, lose your energy, lose your resources, money. How much money do you spend? It's university, right? How much money? So you gotta make it work. You gotta make it worthwhile. And the way of doing this is by committing to the goal. No matter what. You're gonna go for it. It's gonna happen. It's a must for you. All right. I think it's enough of finding out our reasons. And I would like to hear some feedback from you guys. Are you understanding? Any questions? Anything that you would like to share? Any idea that you had that you would like to add to this conversation?
This kind of discussion helps like me a lot, just because for me like a big goal of mine is just become like a solid player. Maybe not like the best or anything, just become solid, right? And like especially that last thing, like what happens if I don't do that? I'll feel like I've wasted like 4 years. Like for me, like if I end up working like at a job that isn't music related, like I feel like I wasted time. Yeah, and I would have wasted like my talents and my time.
A big motivation for me right now is, if we're speaking about motivation, is something concrete. If I fail at this, if I don't improve in 6 months, if I don't do good, my daughter doesn't get to go here. I lose my time with her, and in the long run, I can't give her a good future. So that's her rule. If I don't perform well, with good grades, she can't come here.
That's great.
So that's what motivates me to practice.
Wow. Keep that there. That's going to help you a lot. And this is something that's you should all. You're not afraid to ask those questions. You're afraid to look at reality and see. If it doesn't happen, how is it going? You should not be afraid. You should embrace it. It's going to help us. That's the counterproductive thing. Most of things in life, business that have a lot of success, and people who are very successful in one thing, many things they do things that seem to be counterintuitive. It's not intuitive to look at what could happen if things don't work. But if you do it, it's going to help you. So it's counterintuitive. It's not intuitive to have a discussion like this. Just get up and set up a time to talk about this. But we're doing it's counterintuitive, but it's gonna help. See? Sometimes we gotta be open to what seems to be counterintuitive and really take action. Nice. So now we're gonna be. This is just about setting up goals, so I'm not gonna go further into that. But the next step would be for you to brainstorm ways in which you could achieve those goals. And really puts your goal now for the guitar in the center of the page, like that circle, surround it, and create many arrows for ways in which you can get to the goal. Many ways. We're not gonna do this now because we don't have the time. But I quite encourage you to do this at home, you know. For now, it's just feel how would we feel like, and then to get the goal, and how would it feel like to not get it. You know, that's internal pressure, and it's raw. You know, that's powerful stuff. And I'm gonna share just one last thing with you guys, in order to help you get to those goals. There are many people who write down their goals, but very few feel the way that you guys felt, motivated when they do this, and very few, you know, finds the reasons why they have to do it. And also very few keep themselves surrounded by these goals in a daily basis, or at least in a weekly basis. What do I mean by that? I'm going to ask you guys to come back to this sheet of paper every day, or every 3 days or 4, no more than 1 week, and look at it and say, hey, that's what I'm aiming for. Because sometimes life is so complex that we lose track of what we're doing. You know, it's like there's so many things going on. There's the concerts, performance, classes, and stuff that we lose track of what is really important to us. So I want you to find a way that works for you, so you can see this every single day. You know, and if you can really, you know, I don't want to make this like a ritual kind of. You know, I don't like rituals in that sense. You know, but find a way that this is like in your sights every day. Maybe if you have a fridge, put in your fridge. Or if you want to be private about it, put in your computer. Every time you open it, it shows up and then you close it. Or something that makes you see it, you know. Or maybe you can do this, for example, every week I'm going to come back to review these goals and see if I'm making progress or not. So you set up a time, every Sunday at 2 p.m., for example. And you do that. By doing this in a consistent way, you're going to get to the goal. And you're going to also get all the knowledge and all the skills that you need here in the university, you know, especially professor competitors, teaching the master class and everything. So take advantage of those things and help you get to those goals. Is there any questions, anything you guys would like to say to close this? Because I think that's all.